Homedawgs? My name is Gokey Gamer, and welcome everybody finally to the UPBA draft breakdown for the Milwaukee Medichams. Now, this is the first time I'm ever in this league. This is season 2 of this league as well. Let's see here. It's called the Unified Pokemon Battling Association. So very, very honored to be a part of this league. There's some really awesome names in here. A lot of people from the IBA are in here. There's some other new people that I have not battled yet that I'm really excited to battle. This is gonna be a lot of fun. This is a 20 coach league, which is probably one of, if not the biggest league I've ever heard of. So that's wild, and I'm absolutely honored to be a part of it. And yeah, it's similar to the IBA, but there are some different rules that we'll go over in a little bit. But for now, I just wanted to go ahead and say thank you so much to the mods who invited me to join. Thank you so much to, I believe it was JAYVEE, who runs the whole draft league. I'm pretty sure it's JAYVEE. Also, shoutouts to ELSCIZOR on Discord. I'm reading the Discord names, by the way. I apologize. Shoutouts to ELSCIZOR, JAYVEE, who you all know and love. Let's see here. Jeff, I'm assuming he goes by a different name. Mr. Fish, and Zane V. If I missed anybody, I will leave them down in the description below, or in the pinned comment. But thank you guys so much for inviting me to come. Well, they didn't invite me. I applied to take part in this draft league. But thank you so much for accepting my application. It is a huge, huge honor. Thank you so much. I hope that I can impress you all. So yeah, before we get into it as well, another thing I wanted to say is thank you, huge shoutouts to West and Monk. Both of them helped me a lot with this draft. Because I originally had no idea what I wanted to draft, so I just drafted a couple things that kind of paired well with each other, and then from there, West in particular really helped me round out the team a lot, so the team would not be near as good if it wasn't for him, so huge shouts to him, and Monk also helped as well with this team too, so providing his own inputs, and like some of which I took into consideration, some of which I actually applied, and stuff like that. So huge shouts to both of them. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for helping me out with this draft, because this is somehow in the power rankings, which will be linked down in the description below, the power rankings for this draft league, I got 3rd out of 20, which is wild. I don't know how I did that. It's the first, and I have a lot of that's crazy. I don't know how that happened, but you know what? It's amazing. So without any further ado, though, I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the breaking down of the rules of the draft league, and then we'll go into the Pokemon that I decided to draft. What? And we are back, my dudes! So, here are the UPBA rules in terms of drafting and battling. So, first off, it's already different from the IBA, being you must draft 10 to 12 Pokemon. In the IBA, it's usually set to, I can't even remember what it's set to, but here, you can draft between 10 and 12 Pokemon. So, you know, you don't have to fill out to the 12 Pokemon, you can just do 10, but you have to have a minimum of 10 and a maximum of 12. Your budget is 120 points, and you can draft only 2 Pokemon in between the price ranges of 18 and 16. The 120 points, very standard. The reason that you can only choose 2 Pokemon between their price ranges of 18 and 16 is so that way no teams end up being too top-heavy, and also so that way everybody can have a chance to grab the top Pokemon of the draft. Because otherwise, you know, in a league with 20 people, it's going to get crazy. So, yeah, that's why that rule is implemented. So, yeah, you can only choose between 18 and 16. Which will include mons like the Tapus, overpowered legendaries that are not banned, like Blacephalons in 16, for example, some other OP mons, stuff like that. What Pokemon are allowed or not allowed and not allowed are shown on the website in the materials section. That's for drafting purposes. You get 5 FAs for the season. Unlimited trades, however, you can only trade 3 times with a single coach. So, what that means, we have 5 free agent swaps. And we have unlimited trades, however, we can only trade with the same coach 3 times. Spoiler alert, we've already used some of the FAs. We did have unlimited FAs in the grace period. I can't remember if they actually counted or not, but regardless, I think we've already used some of our FAs. So, because we've already made a few trades. So, with all that being said, that's pretty much it for the drafting. Now time for the battling. So in terms of battling, dry baton pass only. This is a very different one as well that I'm not used to. You cannot pass baton pass. You cannot pass stats with baton pass. Blah, that's a tongue twister. You cannot pass stats with baton pass. Originally, you could pass like all stats or speed, but not like both of them combined. But in this one, no, that's not allowed. You're not allowed to pass any stats, which I think is going to be a really cool rule to implement, and I'm really excited about that. Standard Smogon clauses apply, except Arena Trap. Arena Trap's allowed, Shadow Tag isn't. Mainly because Shadow Tag's on more OP Pokemon. Excuse me. But, yeah, Standard Smogon clauses. You guys should know them, you guys should love them. Let's see here. OHKO moves are banned. That makes sense. Guaranteed evasion boosting items, abilities, and moves are banned. Makes sense. This one's an interesting one. Quick Claw, Focus Band, and any flinch-inducing items like King's Rock are banned. This is a very new one, and this is something that I'm going to have to get used to a little bit. So I'm crossing my fingers hoping I don't mess up. But yes, Quick Claw, Focus Band, and flinch-inducing items are banned from this league. So that's terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. And then the last one is no Dynamaxing or Gigantamaxing. And that's pretty much it. Those are all the rules. As you can see, there are some different rules here. Some similar rules, you know. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be different from the UPBA, or from the IBA, because there's more coaches and the rules are very different. But, there are some, you know, similar rules, of course. Makes sense. But yeah. Hopefully that clears anything up. If there are any other questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. Hopefully I explained them well enough. This is kind of scuffed because I'm recording this on Sunday. Literally the day this goes up, because the reason I didn't get up yesterday was because Friday, there was something last minute that came up, and then I ended up passing out after that because it was been an exhausting week, and then Saturday was already booked because I had to record a crap ton of things, and I had to do a bunch of other things as well. So, regardless though, let's go ahead and get on with the draft breakdown. What? And we are back, my dudes! So, as you can see, our first Pokemon that we decided to draft is Melmetal, but before we get into that, let me just go ahead and give a little bit of backstory, because, that's really important when it comes to this draft, because believe it or not, I kind of ended up sniping everybody. I just realized I needed my keyboard, so I'm leaving that, sorry. Yeah, I ended up sniping a lot of people here, despite the fact that I was 12th pick out of 20, smack dab, almost exactly in the middle. It was what? It's one of the worst positions you could be in a draft league this huge. However, I ended up getting really, really lucky with a lot of snipes, on my end. In fact, pretty much all of my early picks were snipes, for the most part. So that was exciting. You love to see that. You love to see it, baby. But, yeah, we are here. We're allowed to do the right thing. So, at first, I was going to draft Dragapult. That got already picked already. I wanted a hard-hitting Mon at the top of the list. I wanted to go ahead and grab a Mon that was just like in the 18 to 16 range, that hit like a truck, and was a massive, massive threat. So, a lot of people were saying, draft Tapu Lele, draft Tapu Lele. I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't feel like doing that. So, I saw this thing, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this thing a shot. And this thing is Melmetal. This thing, on the physical side anyways, hits like a monstrous truck. With the ability Iron Fist and moves to take advantage of that, like, let's see, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch. I saw a couple of other moves that are Punchy Punch as well. This thing, can also do a crap ton of moves, like Body Press, Brick Break, Darkest Lariat, Double Iron Bash, of course, its standard move. 30% chance to make the target flinch, and it hits twice. That's pretty OP. Earthquake, it can Gyro Ball, it can Heavy Slam, it can High Horsepower, it can Iron Defense, it can Iron Head, it can Rock Slide, Steel Roller, Superpower, Thunderbolt, Thunderbolt, yeah. Thunder Wave, Toxic, it even gets Acid Armor, it gets Dynamic Punch, it gets Mega Punch. There's some really good moves that this thing gets. Combine that with its 135 base HP stat, 143 attack stat, 143 defense stat, this thing just walls everything that's physical. Like, nothing wants to deal with this damage to this thing, especially if it's physical. On the special end leaves a little to be desired, being 65. So, and then the special attack is 80. So this thing will always be run as a physical tank, but it's one of those mons where it's like, even though it does one job, it does that job extremely well. And I think that is really, really great. I'm really excited about this pick. I think this pick is going to really suit my playstyle very, very well. His name is Nuts and Bolts, by the way. I probably should have mentioned that. His name is Nuts and Bolts. You'll have to see it. So, yeah. Very excited to be using this mon, though. I cannot wait to have fun with this thing because I feel like it's going to be a ton of fun. So, yeah. Next up on the team, we have got Siren the Tapu Fini. This one, a lot of people got angry at because, like you, for example, there are a lot of people that really wanted this thing, so I was really glad I was able to pick it up. I did snipe people with Melmetal already. I sniped people. And then Tapu Fini, I sniped as well, so that was exciting. Tapu Fini combined with Melmetal is a really, really busted combination. With the ability Misty Surge, it summons a Misty Terrain, which prevents Pokemon from getting status. So that means Melmetal can't get burned, Tapu Fini can't get toxic as long as the terrain is up, which is really, really OP already with the team that I have. With defenses at 115 and 130 for special defense, it's wild. This thing is bulky as heck. It can even hit really hard with special attack at 95, and it even has a decent amount of speed at 85 as well. So this was a really, really nice pick in my opinion. Calm Mind is set up, sweep. We've got Dazzling Gleam, we've got Draining Kiss, we've got Ice Beam, we've got Hydro Pump, we've got Haze, we've got Defog, we've got Grass Knot, we've got Light Screen, we've even got Knockoff, we got Moonblast, we've got Scald, Shadow Ball, Surf, Stored Power, Iron Defense, I know this thing gets, Aqua Ring, which could be really nice to have. Nature's Madness is always a great one for mods like this. Soak, if I ever want to use that. Tapu Fini is just really, really good in general, and in my opinion, pairs off extremely well with Melmetal. So it was another really, really high pick. So already I'm going a lot more top heavy than I normally do, because for those of you who don't know, I usually like using mid-tier Pokemon. Mid to low tier, I'm really good at using mid to low tier Pokemon, but Tapu Fini and Melmetal are both extremely high picks. By this point, actually, all the 18 picks have been picked. I think by the end of round 1, all the 18s have been picked. So the next highest was 17, and so I got really lucky that I was able to draft Tapu Fini. Really, really happy with this pick. I think it's going to put in a lot of work. So, yeah. Next up, I wanted a mon that could eat electric attacks, that could eat ground-type attacks, for Melmetal and Tapu Fini, since those were the two main weaknesses that I had left on the team to deal with. Since Tapu Fini can handle fire, Melmetal can handle grass for the most part, I needed something that I really wanted something to round out this trio that is, you know, immune to ground, or immune to electric, or whatever, or both, or something like that. So I ended up going with a mon that is immune to both, and I decided to go with Landorus at 13 points. Landorus Incarnate specifically. At first, I drafted it, I was like, oh wait a minute, I can use Sheer Force. For some reason, I saw Sand Force as Sheer Force. It cannot use Sheer Force, because that is too OP, which makes sense. So I'm decided to using, Sand Force. Regardless, even though I drafted it thinking it had Sheer Force, I still would have drafted this anyways, because I think this is a really good pick. Landorus is a really, really fun mon to have. Again, like I said, it gets Stand Force. It gives me a mixed attacker, which is something I needed. The speed at base 101. This is my fastest thing so far. With attack at 125, special attack at 115, this thing can be mixed. It can also take hits fairly well as well, with an 89 HP, 90 defense, and 80 speed, or 80 speed, oh my god, 80 special defense. So it can be defensive if I really want it to be. Sand Force boosts attacks, or boosts ground, rock, steel attacks in Sandstorm to 1.3 times damage, which is really, really good. It gets moves like Brick Break, it can Calm Mind, it can Bulk Up, it can Earth Power, it can Earthquake, it can Explode, it can Extra Sensory, it can Grass Knot, Focus Blast, Hammer Arm, Iron Tail, Knockoff, Outrage, Psychic, Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, Smackdown, Stealth Rocks, Stone Edge, it can set up its own sand, Superpower, U-Turn, it can use Weather Ball, which is really OP for it, Dig, a lot of other moves as well. This thing is really, really good. Mixed attacker gives me a lot to work with here, so I'm really, really excited to be using this. I think this thing is going to be coming in clutch for this league, so I'm really looking forward to it. This was the draft that I really wanted to have. These first 3 picks were all my picks. There are a couple other ones I could have chosen, like maybe Flygon, for example, could have worked, but I decided to go with Landorus, and I don't think I will regret that decision. So, next up, was actually, both of these next 2 mods were West's picks. He was like, you need to choose these 2 things if you want your team to be good. And I debated it, and because it involved running sand. And I was like, I don't know if I want to run sand again, but in this case, I knew, like, I kind of had to. So, I decided to take Wes's advice for these next 2 picks, and I'm really, really happy with them as well. My next pick that I decided to choose is Tyranitar, my sand setter for this league. This thing, everybody knows what Tyranitar does, right? So I'm already going on with the Sand Core. I debated about picking up Gigalith, but I decided against it because, Tyranitar just did more for me. And also, especially since, fighting types don't really want to deal with Tapu Fini or Landorus, and even, like, physical mons will struggle against Melmetal a little bit, I decided to, pick up T-Tar. Because, yeah, I decided to pick up T-Tars because the quad weakness to fighting didn't really matter to me, especially since hidden power isn't a thing. But yeah, this T-Tar is a threat and a half. I've used it before. Galiza. Oh, I should have said Landorus's one. Landorus's nickname is Pistachio, by the way. I nicknamed Landorus Pistachio. But yes, we've got Galiza, the Tyranitar here today. The max, or the base HP is 100, the base attack is 134, the base defense is 110, the base special attack is 95, the base special defense is 100. The only thing lacking is the speed at 61, but even then, that is an amazing speed tier, because it outspeeds mons at base 60, if I really, really want to. Which is insane. This thing is really, really good in the stats department. Again, its main thing is that it is quad weak to fighting, but because most of my team is strong against fighting anyways, it doesn't even matter. This thing can do a lot. This thing can Blizzard, it can Avalanche, it can Aqua Tail, it can Ancient Power, it can Body Press, it can Brick Break, it can Counter, it can Crunch, it can Curse, it can Dark Pulse, it can Dragon Claw, Dragon Dance, it can Earthquake, Earth Power, Fire Punch, Fire Blast, Flamethrower, Foul Play. There's a ton of things this thing can do. It gets the Ice moves, Ice Beam, Ice Punch, Iron Defense, Iron Head, Low Kick, Rock Slide, Rock Polish, Stealth Rock, Stone Edge, Surf. This thing can do, like, basically anything. It's wild. You can run special if you want to. You can run physical if you want to. You can run defensive if you want to. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me. This thing is just really, really good. I'm really, really hyped to use T-Tar again. I used it in IBA Season 1.5, but I used Gigalith a lot more because my team was more weak to fighting. But because this already, my team is looking really strong against fighting types, and later on it becomes even stronger, I decided to rock out with this thing because it's just better overall stat-wise, and I can switch out on a fighting type. So, yeah. That is this Pokemon. Now, the next Pokemon I decided to pick up is a Mon that uses Sand Rush, but is really freaking good at it. No, it is not Draco Fish, but rather its cousin, Dragonzolt. I actually don't have a nickname for this thing yet. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't have a nickname for this thing. But yes, we decided to pick up Dragonzolt, who has Sand Rush to also benefit from the sand set by T-Tar, but it also gets two amazing abilities in Hustle, which the Pokemon's attack is 1.5, and the accuracy of its physical attacks is 0.8, which, you know, lowered accuracy is not fun, but you know what? It's whatever. Volt Absorb as well, in case I want another electric immunity, although you do quad resist electric, so most likely we will never run that. HP is at 90, attack is at 100, defense is at 90, special attack is at 80, special defense is at 70, speed is at 75. So yeah, this thing doesn't really want to take a hit from the special end, but it can take a hit from the physical end a lot better. And in Sand, this thing is going to be really overpowered with Choice Band. Let's see, Bolt Beak, which powers doubles if the user moves before the target, is really, really freaking good, especially on this team. Granted, it doesn't do anything against ground types or mons with electric immunity, but against teams that don't have that or have already sacked it off or their ground type is not as great, Dragonzolt can just come in and claim lives, which is amazing. Bolt Beak just does a crap ton of damage, especially if banded, and in the Sand, it just goes boom, 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 you're dead. So it's really, really great. It also gets moves like Dragon Tail, Dragon Claw, Draco Meteor if I really want a special, Discharge, Earthquake, Earth Power, Fire Fang, Flamethrower, High Horsepower, Rock Slide, Stone Edge, Thunderbolt, Thunder Punch, Thunder Wave, Wild Charge, Aerial Ace, Dragon Rush, Electro Ball, Rising Voltage, if I ever want to use that, Meteor Beam, which we're never running because Meteor Beam sucks, and if, yeah, so this thing, pretty much the best thing that this thing can do is Banded in Sand with Bolt Beak, but, you know, that's sometimes all you need. That's sometimes all you need in a Mon, just to reverse sweep teams. So, really, really excited to use Dragonzolt. I think it's going to put in a lot of work, and I'm very excited for it. So, yeah. Next up on the team, though, we have got... Okay, so, this is actually our first transaction that we will be talking about here. Originally, for this slot, I had drafted Alolan Marowak, because I really wanted a good Fire type and a Ghost type. I ended up trading that off for another Fire type later down the line, after the draft had happened, and I decided instead to pick up... Oh wait, no, never mind. I thought it was a different Mon next. This was the next Mon I decided to draft. We'll get to that Alolan Marowak in a second. This was not the case for this. This I decided to pick up right after Dragonzolt. This was a very much me pick. I know Wes was like, I don't know about this one. I really wanted this one because I really valued speed control on this team, and OrbBeetle provides a very good very good speed control with sticky webs, and it can send them up really fast with a base 90 speed. 120 special defense, 110 defense is nothing to laugh at. Granted, it has 60 HP, but still, this thing is really, really bulky. I really enjoy using OrbBeetle. I think it's a very fun mon to use. We got Orb, is his name as well. Orb the OrbBeetle. And yeah, it's a lot of fun to use. It's a lot of fun to set up sweep. It can get both Iron Defense and Calm Mind, it can Body Press, it can Agility, it can Expanding Force, it can Giga Drain, it can Leech Life, it can Psychic, Psycho Cut, Psy Shock, Shadow Ball, Sticky Webs, like I said, Stored Power, U-Turns, and Hit a Butt. So yeah, this thing is just really freaking good. And it also gives me another quad resist to fighting, which is really, really nice for T-Tar and other picks later down the line. This thing, like I said, Wes was like, I don't know about this one, but I personally valued speed control, especially since our speed doesn't get much better throughout later on in the draft. So I decided to go ahead and pick up OrbBeetle because I really valued that speed control with sticky webs, and because it forces people to prep for it. And I think it's going to be really good. And plus, Bug Psychic as well is a fun combination of typings to use. And I knew I wanted both of them. So I'm really, really excited to be using OrbBeetle. I think it's going to put in a lot of work. And very, very excited to use it. So yeah. Next up on the team, though, is the mon that I decided to pick up instead of Alolan Marowak. This mon that I decided to pick up next is Celebi. Celebi is the mon I decided to pick up instead of Alolan Marowak, so I traded it in for Celebi during the grace period. Celebi, the reason I decided to pick it up is because I decided to pick up a different fire type later on down the line. And Celebi just gives me a cleric that I really desperately needed besides Tapu Fini. In fact, Tapu Fini doesn't even get anything like aromatherapy or something like that. If it did, I probably would not have picked up Celebi. But I decided to pick up Celebi because I really wanted a cleric on the team that could use Heal Bell, aromatherapy, or like even heal. I think it gets Wish. It gets Healing Wish. Maybe I don't think it gets Wish actually. Does it get Wish? It does not get Wish. But it can heal with Healing Wish if I need to, Heal Bell, stuff like that. It also gets moves like Ancient Power, Aura Sphere, Dazzling Gleam, Giga Drain, Earth Power, do a Wing Beat, Energy Ball, Leaf Blade, Leaf Storm, Leech Seed, Nasty Plot, Calm Mind, I believe, I don't know if I said that, Seed Bomb, Shadow Ball, it gets Swords Dance as well, if I want to run physical, Sucker Punch even, Substitute, Stealth Rocks, Thunder Wave, Toxic, Trick Room, U-Turn, Weather Ball. This thing can do a lot, and I think it's a really, really fun mon to use. And then it also has Natural Cure as well, so I can cure my own status when I switch out, which is always great. And it has base 100 stats across the board. I'm really excited to use this pick. I think this pick really helps out the team a lot. I'm not going to lie to you. I think this is a great mon to use. I'm really excited to be using it for the first time. I'm hoping it'll put in a lot of work. I don't know what I'm naming this thing yet either. Dragonzolt and Celebi, I'm still not decided on the nicknames of, but yes, we've got Celebi. Maybe I'll name it something after Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Probably will do that actually. Who knows? But that is the Celebi that we have got right there. So yeah, next up on the team is another grass type, granted. But this is a grass type that I really wanted to use in IBA Season 3, and it got sniped. And I felt like, combined with Tapu Fini, would put in a crap ton of work. And I think it's going to be an underrated mon. Sceptile. I actually debated about trading off Sceptile for a couple of other mons that were lower tier, like a 3 and a 1 or a 2 and a 2 or something like that. Just because I wanted more sand on my team, and I wanted a bit more support. But I decided to go with Sceptile because 120 is going to be my fastest mon on the team. That's going to be my fastest mon in the entire draft, and I really needed that. I really needed to keep the 120 speed. So for now, I'm keeping Sceptile, and that might change later on down the line. Who knows? But I decided to keep Sceptile because I kind of need the speed control. So yeah, with the Unburden boost, this thing makes Unburden boost combined with like Focus Sash or Misty Seed from Tapu Fini just makes this thing the fastest thing on the field. Nothing wants to outspeed this thing unless it's like a Scarf Regieleki. And why would you run Scarf Regieleki? I have no idea. Granted, this thing doesn't hit really hard, being at 85 attack and 105 special attack. Its speed is really the best thing that it does, but I think it can really put it to good use, and I'm really excited to use it regardless. This thing can be physical or special. It can set up with Sword Stance and do things like Leaf Blade, Earthquake, Dragon Claw, Brick Break, Crunch, things like that. But it can also hit on the special end with Energy Ball, Giga Drain. Let's see here. Dragon Pulse, Leech Seed. It can Seismic Toss. It gets Throat Chop, Thunder Punch, X-Scissor, Outrage. It gets Drain Punch even. It gets Endeavor if I really want to use that. It gets Home Claws. It gets Roar if I ever want to use that for whatever reason. So yeah, it gets Aerial Ace as well. Brutal Swing, Bulldoze. There's some really fun things I think I can do with this thing. It gets Cross Poison, which I didn't even know. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, there's a lot of things that this thing can do. I'm hoping it'll put in a lot of work. We've got Tree is his name, by the way. We've got Tree the Sceptile. So I'm really hoping this thing will put in a lot of work. This thing is a bit of an interesting one, especially with Celebi. That doesn't give me a great. I don't like having dual grass types, but Sceptile is a mon that, regardless, I'm still excited to use. So yeah, now we're getting to the point where I'm starting to kind of wrap up the draft a little bit in a nice little bow with these last 3 picks. This is actually the last pick that I had. That was all in the original team. Then the other 2 were traded off. So yeah. The next Pokemon I decided to rock out with is a fighting type. I knew I really wanted a fighting type. I think I would have drafted Hitmonlee, but I didn't want Hitmonlee again. I'm going to be honest. I know in the draft, the power rankings, the person said, I can't remember who it was, but they said that it would have been better to have Hitmonlee as my Unburdened Mon and as my fighting Mon. I didn't want Hitmonlee. I didn't want to use it again because I've used it a lot already, and I just wanted to break from it. So I decided instead to pick up Hitmonchan, and this is a much cheaper pick, and it also helps me later on in the draft as well, which is nice. Hitmonchan, I'm really, really excited to use this thing. This thing is bulkier than Hitmonchan, or Hitmonlee, with 110 in special defense, 79 in defense, and the HP is 50. Attack is 105 as well, with a speed is 76, so it's not as fast, but it's bulkier. Ability, Iron Fist can be really, really nice on Hitmonchan, obviously, powering up all of its punching moves, like Bullet Punch, Drain Punch, Fire Punch, the Elemental Punches, Focus Punch, Mach Punch, Power Up Punch. There's a bunch of other things it can do as well. It can Rapid Spin, this gives me a Rapid Spin Mon, which is really, really nice. Fake Out, it can Facade, it can Earthquake, it can Close Combat, it can Bulk Up, it can Brick Break. It can do a bunch of things. Mainly this thing just hits on the fighting end. That's pretty much what this mon does. So there's that. But regardless, I still think this is a really, really great pick in my opinion, and I'm really excited to use it. I think it's going to put in a lot of work. And yeah, it's going to be pretty epic. So yeah, there you go. And now, let me actually find something out real fast, because I can't remember, because this last pick I ended up trading. I ended up trading a couple of mons for these last picks. I remember I had a Musharna that I originally drafted, but I did get rid of that, and then there's another mon I got rid of as well, I think. I think there were 2 mons that I ended up getting rid of. I can't remember what they were though. Like I said, I know I got rid of freaking what I just said, Musharna. I got rid of Musharna, which I had originally drafted for these last 2 picks, and I think I got rid of one other thing as well that I'm trying to find. So give me a second to see if I can find it. What? And we are back. So I think the 2 mons I ended up trading off were Musharna and the Alolan Marowak. I think that was it. I'm not too sure though, because I think I traded off one more Pokemon, but I can't remember what it was. So if I happen to remember, I'll leave it in the pinned comment. So yeah, the next Pokemon that I decided to pick up though was a mon that I wanted some more sand coverage. I wanted some more mons that could do well in sand. So I decided to pick up this Pokemon, being Lycanroc Midday. This thing also gets Sand Rush, like Dragonzolt, which is really, really nice. It also can Accelrock, which gives me more priority, and it also gives me base 112 speed, which is not bad at all for this team, especially since my fastest mon is Sceptile at base 120. I need as much speed control as I can get, because I don't like my speed. The speed control is better in this freaking draft league than in usual draft leagues, but regardless, I wanted more speed control. So yeah, I decided to pick up Link, the shiny Lycanroc Big Day. Tyranitar is also shiny. I decided, so yeah, frick you. This thing, like I said, also gets Sand Rush, which is nice. It also gets Steadfast, so if I flinch, its speed is raised by 1, which can be really fun to predict a Fake Out or something like that. This thing can do things like Accelrock, Brick Break, Close Combat, Crunch, Drill Run, Fire Fang, Iron Head, Play Rough, Psychic Fangs, Rock Slide, Stone Edge, Stealth Rock, Sucker Punch, Toxic, or Taunt, Tail Slap, if I ever want to use that for whatever reason, Zen Headbutt. It can do a couple of things like that. This thing pretty much just hits really hard like a truck. It gets Swords Dance as well. It gets Bulk Up too. It gets Agility. Base 115 attack and 112 speed, like I said. This thing is a glass cannon, especially with the defenses at 65 and the HP at 75. This thing does not want to take a hit, but it can deal damage back and can be a great and excellent late game sweeper. So I'm really excited to be using it. I love Lycanroc. I used Lycanroc Dusk in the SSL and it put in a crap ton of work. So I'm really excited to be using Lycanroc midday. Hopefully it can put in a lot of work for me as well. And now, finally, my very last pick that I decided to rock out with my budget of 4 points. The Pokemon that I decided to rock out with to wrap it up is my fire type that I was talking about earlier, and is a really good one, and this was one recommended by Westy, being Tyranitar. West also was one actually who helped me decide to pick up Celebi and Lycanroc. We were both kind of talking about it, and we were both like, you know, hey, what do you think about, like, what do you think could work here? I was like, could Celebi and Lycanroc work? And Wes was like, yes, that's perfect. And then Wes was the one who was really pushing me to pick up Tyranitar. At first I was like, I don't know, but I eventually decided, you know what? I think this is by far the best pick I can pick up. We got Tyranitar here, which I'm really excited to use. With Shell Armors, that way this Pokemon cannot get critted. This thing, you already know what this thing does. It Shell Smashes in things' face and causes sweeps. Defense is at 135, which is really bulky for it. And the special defense at 85, which is not bad. HP's at 60, which is okay. Special attack is at 91, which can be pretty decent, especially if I set it to +2. So pretty much White Herb, Shell Smash is going to be the thing I run on this thing all the time. We got Body Press, we got Bulk Up, we got Draco Meteor, we got Dragon Claw, we got Dragon Pulse, we got Dragon Tail, we got Earthquake, we got Explosion, we got Fire Blast, Flame Charge, Flamethrower, Flash Cannon, Focus Blast, Head Smash, Heat Crash, Heat Wave, Heavy Slam, Iron Defense, Iron Head, Lash Out, Scorching Sands, which is really nice, Overheat, Outrage, Stone Edge, Taunt, Toxic, Will-O-Wisp. This thing can put in a lot of work. It can be physical, it can be an attacker or defender. Regardless, it works as both. Burning Jealousy, Charge Beam, which could be fun to use maybe every now and then. Brutal Swing, stuff like that. Shockwave, I didn't even know it got that. Scale Shot, Shell Trap, Stopping Tantrum. There's a lot of things this thing can get. It even gets Venom Shock, which I didn't even know, so that could be fun to use. And, yeah, Tyranitar, I think, is going to put in a lot of work for this team. I'm really excited to use it. I think this is a fantastic budget pick, which is what I needed, considering my budget is now at 0. And I think this thing is going to put in a lot of work. I'm really hyped up to be using Tyranitar, Snoot, the Tyranitar, which I'm really excited about. Oh, and Hitmonchan's nickname is Jackie, for obvious reasons. So yeah, we got Jackie, the Hitmonchan, Link the Lycanroc midday, and Snoot, the Tyranitar. I'm very excited to be using this thing. I think this thing is going to be putting in a lot of work, hopefully crossing fingers. And that is going to do it for the draft. I did not draft another Pokemon because my budget is at 0. So yeah, that is the team we are rocking out with for the UPBA Season 2. Really excited about this team. Again, somehow it ranked like 3rd out of the 20 teams that were drafted, which I am amazed at. I don't know how that happened. Again, huge shout outs to Wes and Monk. Wes in particular helped me out a lot with this draft, giving me the mods that I needed to help round out the team extremely well. Overall, I'm really proud of how I drafted. I think this is a great team. It's not perfect, but I think it's a really great team regardless. So if I could get a base 130 speed in there somewhere, that would be amazing. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. And, but, you know, you never know. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here and say thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy this long video. I apologize again that it went out a day later than most other Draft League analyses, but the reason being, like I said, Friday I didn't have time, like there was last minute stuff and I ended up passing out, and then yesterday I did not have time to record at all. So here we are, we're doing the daily darn thing. Hopefully this will go up at a decent time, crossing fingers. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did have a fantastic time watching, and be looking forward to our battle coming up on Fridays. These battles will go up on Fridays, so be looking forward to that. And yeah, I think that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you dudes in the next video. Peace out, mates!